Alright guys, it's going to be a little different. Sit back, relax. We're going to talk knives. Specifically, my favorite knives. These Muela Stag knives. Now, I've been using these things for the better part of 10 years now. I started buying them back when I was just a kid, and they've always stuck with me. And I'm really excited about these blades. I've never had a chance to do a video about them. As you can see, I got quite the collection there. That's nearly $1,000 worth of blades right there, and I've collected them through the years. And we're just going to go through one at a time and kind of talk about them overall, and specifically we're going to go into each of the models. So I'm also going to post this video on my black powder Facebook group that I have, black powder and traditional muzzleloading Facebook group. So to go easy on those guys, I'm going to talk about the one that could be used in 18th century reenacting first. So just to go a little easy on those guys. So I'm going to clear the table. We'll talk about it. Alright guys, first knife we're going to look at is the Muela Bear. Now this is the only Muela that right out of the box you could probably use in period reenacting, with just a couple of caveats. It's got a very common blade design for the day, and it has the buckle clasp. So it's the only one with two caveats that you could probably use just as it is right out of the box. So let's take a look at the blade design, and you guys will see that the blade, the relief cuts on it are a very common design. At least they were in the Civil War. You can just Google Civil War Bowie knife or Civil War belt knife, and it'll come up, and you'll see that this style, the styling right there, is very common. So as you can see, that is a beautiful knife. Now here's the caveat. Muela, as you can see, laser etches their name into the blade. Now a little bit of Scotch-Brite, which I didn't grab a little before I started the camera, but a little bit of Scotch-Brite rubbed on there in the direction of the grain will take that right off if you so choose. However, you know, I use it as is because I don't draw it. So the only time it gets drawn is if I'm going to work on my shelter or something like that. But I mean, out in the field or to people who are watching, spectators and whatnot, it never gets drawn. So they'll never see that. They'll only see it as it sits in there, and it works excellent for that kind of thing. So it's a really nice knife. I really like it. The red Stag handles are very dense, and I like them because they got color. A lot of your antler knives are very white and very gray, but the red Stag tends to keep its color. Very beautiful. So, and very dense. So, and the other caveat is you can't see it here because it's covered by the baldric, but all of the Muela knives have the Muela logo on there. So that's the other caveat as far as being able to use it. On this one, the baldric covers it. The baldric also covers a big part of the sheath. So the sheath is the other thing. They don't have the best sheaths out there. Every knife on this table is like $275 and down to about, the cheapest one's about $100. So you're getting a really high quality knife. They gotta go cheap a little bit somewhere, or you'd be in the $300 to $350 range, and where they do that is with the sheath. And it's not like these sheaths aren't functional. A lot of knives that are out there, in fact I just bought one, the sheaths are utter garbage and you pretty much have to get a new one. So the sheaths are functional, you can use them, but they're the money making, or the money saving part of the Muelas, but they're decent. So anyway, now that we got that out of the way, let me just show you guys real quick before we move on. All these Muelas sporting the factory edges. So as you can see, they are freaking sharp. I have never touched up a Muela. Alright, let's just do a quick cardboard test before I put this away. So as you can see, this isn't an individual review for that knife, but I've never had to touch that up, and I went through it like it was nothing. So let's put this away. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, the next knife we're going to look at is the Muela Lancero. Now this one is one of my absolute favorites. I love the blade shape and I love that crown red stag on there. It is just a beautiful blade. The nicer Muelas all come with the buckle clasp, so that's nice as opposed to the button clasps like these models over here. The buttons work, don't get me wrong. They're just not as nice aesthetically as the others, as the buckle clasp. So look at that. Beautiful, beautiful blade. And keep in mind, this blade went elk hunting this year. It has seen use as a chopper. Nothing real heavy yet, just medium to light chopping. I do want to do a heavy chopping test on this blade, however, I want to see where it will fail. If I can find it, there is a guy on Google that I found that cut a Muela in half to see how well the tangs are, or how well the tangs are embedded into these red stag antlers. So he actually took a bandsaw and he cut it in half, and if I remember correctly, the tangs on these things are pretty hefty and they go quite a ways back, and they sit them in some kind of epoxy cement, so they're in there real sturdy. And like I said, did plenty of chopping with this and it is still tight like brand new. So if there's enough interest in this video, if you guys would like to see more about these knives, or maybe an individual review for each knife, then I'll go ahead and I'll save up and I'll buy another one of these specifically to test to its breaking point. I would like to do that. I just don't know if there's going to be the interest in it. So this Muela sports the bronze, I don't know what you call that, base medallion there on the crown stag. Take a look at that. Let me keep the camera focused there. That is just some beautiful, beautiful stag, and it's the perfect size. As you can see there, I can get full grip on it, full swing. It's extremely comfortable. Sorry, I hit the camera there. Really, really nice knife. So, and even after all the work we did on it. Sorry guys, I got interrupted. I hate it when that happens. But again, even with all the chopping that I've done with, sporting the factory edge, I have cleaned it. As you can see, you don't see a bunch of crud on there. I cleaned it with Scotch-Brite, went with the grain, made it all nice and pretty again, but I haven't touched up the blade. So, as you can see, still razor sharp. Do a little cardboard cutting. Oop, didn't finish off there. Razor sharp after some light chopping. So like I said, if you guys would like to see this in an individual video, let me know in the comments, and like and share the video, and I will spend the money and get another one of these and test it to its failure point. So let's move on to the next knife. Actually guys, you know what, I just remembered something. On the subject of chopping, you see the size of blade this is? This would be a good chopper if it's able to withstand the forces, the blows moving through the handle. Because what's most likely to happen, what I think will happen, is as you're holding it right here and chopping it, you know, using it as a wedge to chop wood down this side, the blade is going to want to push that tang up through the stag, and you're probably going to get a crack right about right here. So whether it's strong enough to do that, I don't know, but I would like to find out. It would be cool if it was, but they're not really that kind of a knife. Chopper, medium to light, fine. Splitting and heavy duty chopping, no, that's reserved more for something like this Nepalese kukri that I got. Let me know if you guys want to see a review on this. Now this thing has seen all kinds of use with me. I use this every time I go hunting or camping. I've used it to make a lot of on-the-spot deer blinds. In fact, the last time I was out in the woods, as you can see, we had some damage happen. I don't know if you guys can see that, where it got chipped away there. I was chopping through a piece of wood and didn't realize that there was a nail in it. So that can be fixed. Kukris aren't supposed to be razor sharp. They're more a blunt instrument, blunt force. They're supposed to have an edge, a convex edge, but they're not supposed to be razor sharp. So, but that will, you know, I'll be able to sand that right out. But this is more suited to splitting, chopping, you know, heavy duty work like that. Whereas this is more not. It's more like light to medium. I would almost say this is more decorative. That's what I got it for anyway, because it just looks badass. But if it could double in that roll, that would be awesome. So another knife that I use, kind of getting off on a sidetrack for the splitting, is this one. This is the next size down that I own personally. This is a custom blade made from 154 cm, I believe. I need to get an intermediate length blade, something between this and this. It would be nice if that filled that void. I don't think it will though, so be looking. I'm gonna have another gosh, what am I trying to say? I'm gonna have another review when I find what kind of blade that I want to use for an intermediate. I'm looking at the Boker Vox Rolled, I believe, so be looking for that review. So anyway, let's get back on track here. Back to the Muelas. Alright, this next knife is the Muela Charleville. I wouldn't know how to say this knife's name, but this is a remate or finish off knife. This is made for nothing but pig sticking. I mean, I'm sure you could flex it into other rolls, but that is this knife's purpose. And there's the name right there. Chevril. You guys figure out how to pronounce that. I ain't got a clue. But again, beautiful crown stag. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but the stag on the Muelas, the other thing that I really like about it is the stag is actually sealed. They seal it with some kind of urethane. So the knives we're getting to here in a minute, I use for cleaning wild game, and it keeps the antler clean and it makes it really easy to wash. But again, another beautiful, look at the reflection off that blade. Beautiful knives. So I don't know if I've mentioned this yet. Also, they use chrome molybdenum steel on their blades. So you guys have probably recognized that name. Sounds very similar to the steel used on your AR barrels, right? So let's do paper. As you can see, just like the others. If I can get the paper to hold still. There we go. Razor sharp. So, really nice pig sticker / remate knife. This one is actually for sale on my website, murphysmuskets.com. Anybody interested, go ahead and there'll be a link in the description. You can go over there and check it out. I'm going to sell this one and possibly use the money on another Lancero to test the failure point. But look how perfect these knives are shaped. I mean, you can just watch the reflection roll off these things. They're beautiful, beautiful knives. So now let's get to more of the hunting knives. Ones that I've put a lot more hard use on. Alright guys, for those of you who have stuck with me this long, I appreciate it. I'm not a big time knife reviewer. I want to be, but I'm not there yet. So those of you who are still around, I appreciate you listening to my blatherings. Hopefully it'll be worth it. Here we have my favorite of the three. I never go hunting without these things. These three knives will do anything. It'll do deer, elk, I don't care what it is. It'll do it. Polar bear, Cape buffalo, whatever. I have had these knives for years now, and they're still sporting the factory edges. After all the gutting, skinning, quartering factory edges, they still cut paper. They're beautiful and excellent knives. Absolutely love them. Let's take a look. This one's called the Muela Viper. Guys, take a look at that. You might even be able to see Looks like I didn't do that great of a job cleaning it because there's still some deer fiber on there. There's the model right there. If the camera will focus. The Muela Viper. Excellent, excellent knife. Again, like I said, the Stag handles are sealed, and it makes it so you can really get them dirty, and they're really easy to clean. Excellent jimping on there. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, you just got a real strong purchase. Razor sharp. Let's go ahead and do the paper test here. And I'm going to zoom in the camera so I don't have to keep bringing the blade to the camera. I apologize for that. Again, I am learning. So, this one is probably done, I don't know, 3-4 deer since the factory. Still sporting the factory edge. And keep in mind, guys, I'm not the best at this paper test thing either. I'm not, you know, Mr. Knife Reviewer. So, I apologize. But everybody's got to start somewhere. But as you can see, I mean, it cuts through that like nothing. Let's take a piece of cardboard. Same thing. Like nothing. And I'm not, probably don't have the best form. I'm not Joe Knife Reviewer. But anyway, like I said, excellent knife. Can't beat it for the price. I picked this up on eBay. I think from Pratt's Collectibles or Pratt's Collectible Knives, something like that. Picked it up on eBay for like 110, 120 bucks. Wouldn't go hunting without it. Just a beautiful blade. Crown Red Stag. I really like this knife. So the next one, oh, I ought to mention, I use this one mostly for the dirty work. I use this one for gutting and just getting a lot of the tallow out. This one does most of the dirty work. When I go over to the more precision things like cutting out steaks and whatnot, I like to use the Rucco a lot, especially for the back straps. This is like my back strap knife right here. This was actually the first Muela that I ever purchased, the Muela Rucco. I don't even know if they still make this one. Again, this is the oldest one of the group. 10 years old, still sporting the factory edge. I've never had to touch it up. Just beautiful blades, beautiful steel. Easy to clean. Let's do another paper cut. If I've got any paper left that isn't already cut. Oop. That one was me. Like I said, not Joe Knife Reviewer. So apologize if I look like an idiot doing this, but like I said, everybody's got to start somewhere. And I'm just making a mess now. But as you can see, it's razor sharp. I love that knife. Cut a little cardboard with it. Like it's nothing. Oop. Beautiful blade. Highly recommended. Don't go anywhere without them. Alright, so the last blade we're going to look at in the lineup is my favorite of them as far as just the knife itself. Its only downside is a little heavier than the other, and that kind of sucks when you're carrying them around when you're hunting, but it's just a gorgeous knife. This is the Muela Kodiak. As you can see, the sheath's a little bit different, a little higher quality. This one actually snaps in. I don't know if you can hear this. So that one snaps into place, into its leather sheath. Beautiful blade. Muela Kodiak. Again, I use this one for cutting up the steaks. It's excellent in hand. Now, the reason that this one weighs a little more than the other is it's got this solid brass guard, and it's, as you can see, a completely full tang knife, and it's actually pretty thick. I mean, that's a decent slab of steel right there. It's got 3 pins that hold this together. I don't know if I can get you to see the third one because the brass is so highly polished. Let's see if I can get it to where you guys can see it. There's a third pin right here, and I can see it with my naked eye, but I don't think the camera is going to be good enough to pick it up. But anyway, I mean, look at that. Look at that antler. Is that not just a beautiful blade? It feels perfect in the hand. And I like the weight, don't get me wrong. I love the weight of this blade. The only thing I can say about it is that when you're carrying the other knives, these two, on your belt while you're hunting, you can feel it, the weight a little more. If you're just carrying it by itself, then, you know, it's not so bad. This knife could do the work of these two. The reason I even have the 3 blades here is because with my experience with other knives, typically if you're going to completely process a large game like an elk or something like that, you're going to need a couple of knives. So originally I bought these almost together because I figured that's what I needed, and I've just never needed them. I've used all 3 of them, but that was more just because I wanted to use all 3 of them, not because I absolutely had to use all 3 of them. So highly, highly recommended. And again, if you guys want to see individual reviews on any of these, just let me know. So my camera's telling me I'm about to run out of battery. The last knife is the Muela Carzola. It's more a classic Bowie brass guard, and I'm not going to be able to say much about it because we're about to lose the battery. Carzola right there. That one stays more in the case. I don't really use it for much, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. Like I said, if you guys like the video, like and subscribe. Let me know if you want to see individual reviews on these knives. If you want to see them in action, I'll see what I can do about that. Also, please remember, I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I have Facebook groups. I have my own website now, my own web store where I sell surplus items, German militaria, gunsmithing services on antique guns, all kinds of things. So if you would please go check that stuff out if any of it interests you, or if you have any kind of work that needs to be done. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next review. Hey guys, check this out real quick before I go. I've only got a second of battery life left, but because I'm ADD, I'm going to show you something I think is pretty cool. I was at the Home Depot tonight, and I saw this thing. I was out buying more fluorescent lights for the garage here, and I was like, what the freak is this, the original? And I was looking at this bulb, and look at that. That is the old style incandescent bulb. And you know, I'm freaking ADD, so I was like, damn, that's cool. I always liked learning about Tesla and Edison when I was little, and I was like, you know what, I want to see that freaking bulb. So because I'm ADD like that, I freaking bought it. Alright guys, let's take a look-see at this thing. Sorry about it being dark. It's kind of impromptu. Looks like power lines in there. Ooh, what's that over there? Alright. My wife says I'm easily entertained and easily distracted. Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna see if I can get the camera to adjust enough so you guys can see. That's freaking cool. $10. And like I said, my wife will accuse me of being easily entertained, but that's freaking cool.